Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My name is Randy Cole, and if you had asked me 2 years ago what held a marriage together, I would have said something simple: steady loyalty, shared decisions, and the comfort of knowing the person next to you was on your side. I never pictured myself standing in the middle of my living room wondering when the woman I married had drifted so far from me I barely recognized her. Betty and I had been married for 10 years. Not perfect years, but stable ones. We paid our bills on time, kept our promises, and talked about plans like normal couples. The cracks didn't show up overnight. They arrived slowly, the way rust creeps along metal. Quiet, almost invisible, until one day it's everywhere. At first, the changes were small. Betty started spending more evenings out with her friend Crystal. What used to be a happy hour every few weeks turned into girls' nights 2 or 3 times a week. She'd come home smelling like clubs, saying the music was too loud and the drinks were too sweet, but she kept going anyway. I noticed how often her phone lit up now. Quick glances, quick swipes, lock screen flipped face down. She said it was nothing, and I didn't make it a fight. I've never believed in chasing answers. I just watched. Patterns say more than excuses ever do. Our conversations thinned. She stopped asking about my day. When I asked about hers, she'd give short answers or say she was tired. The closeness we once had, late-night talks, weekend plans, felt like memories from a different life. But I didn't panic. I didn't accuse. I didn't raise my voice. I simply paid attention. The moment I realized something was truly off was one Sunday morning when I walked into the kitchen and saw her staring at her phone with a look I hadn't seen directed at me in years. Soft, almost shy. But the second she saw me, her face closed like a door slamming shut. She smiled too fast and said, "Morning," like nothing had happened. That was the instant I knew something was coming. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, but I felt the shift, the same way you sense a storm before it reaches your street. And I was right. The Friday everything snapped didn't start dramatic. I got home around 8 that night. I expected to find Betty in leggings, maybe cooking pasta or scrolling her phone on the couch, normal things. Instead, I walked into the bedroom and saw her standing in front of the mirror wearing a tight black dress I hadn't seen since our anniversary years ago. Heels, fresh makeup, hair curled. She looked too good for the story she tried to give me. She didn't even look up when she said, "I'm heading out." I leaned on the doorway. "Going where?" "Blue Ember," she answered casually, slipping earrings in. "Girls' night." I let the words hang there. "You didn't mention anything about a nightclub." She shrugged. "Crystal texted last minute. I need a break." "A break from what?" I asked. "Not angry, just steady." She sighed like I was a chore. "Randy, can we not do this?" "Do what?" I asked. "Talk? Ask questions? Be married?" Her eyes flashed. "See? This is why I need space." I kept my voice calm. "You can have space. You don't need a nightclub for that. Why Blue Ember? Why that dress? Why now?" She spun around, arms crossed. "I don't owe you a schedule." "No," I said, "but you owe me honesty." That hit her wrong. "You're being dramatic," she snapped. "It's just a night out." "A night out you hid until the last second." She rolled her eyes. "It's a club, Randy, not a crime scene." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't move. "So who are you dressing up for?" That's when she snapped. Fully snapped. "If you don't like it," she shot back, grabbing her purse, "then divorce me." She said it fast, sharp, like she wanted it to hurt. The moment the words left her mouth, something inside me stopped shifting and finally settled. Not broken, just aligned. I looked at her. Calm. "Understood," I said. She blinked, thrown off by how steady I sounded. But after 2 seconds of hesitation, she brushed past me, heels clicking, perfume trailing, and walked out the door. She thought it was just another argument she could walk away from. She didn't know that one sentence had already decided everything. The house felt strangely quiet after Betty left, like the walls were waiting for me to react. I didn't. I didn't chase her. I didn't call Crystal. I didn't sit on the couch staring at the door like some abandoned husband in a sad movie. I walked straight to my office. The documents were exactly where I left them months earlier, inside a plain manila folder in the bottom drawer of my desk. My friend Derek, who handled family law, had helped me prepare everything. Not because I wanted a divorce back then, but because I refused to be caught unprepared if Betty ever pushed too far. She had pushed. I sat down, opened the folder, and read through the paperwork carefully. Financial disclosures, property division, a clean exit plan, simple, fair, and impossible to twist into a fight. Derek told me once, "The strongest position is calm clarity." He had no idea how right he was. I picked up my pen and signed every page. No shaking hands, no anger, just a quiet acceptance of reality. When I was done, I scanned the documents and attached them to an email addressed to Betty. The subject line was empty. The message body had only 3 words: "As you requested." I copied Derek so he could initiate the filing first thing in the morning. Then I placed my phone on the coffee table, screen up, and sat in the armchair across from it, not waiting for her to come home, not hoping, not dreading, just observing, the same way I had been for months. It took less than 5 minutes. My phone lit up with her name. Once, twice, then again. Calls, voicemails, rapid-fire texts. "Randy, call me." "What is this?" "Randy, answer your phone right now." "Is this a joke?" I didn't reply. I didn't block her. I simply let the messages pile up while my heart stayed steady. The version of me she was used to, the one who asked for reassurance, who backed down to keep the peace. That man was gone. 10 minutes later, headlights swung across the living room. A car door slammed. Fast footsteps hit the porch. The front door flew open. Betty stood there in the doorway, barefoot, her heels in her hand, dress wrinkled, hair undone from running. She looked nothing like the woman who had walked out an hour earlier. Her voice cracked. "Randy, what did you do?" I stayed seated. "Exactly what you told me to." She stared at me, confused, desperate. "You sent me divorce papers? Are you out of your mind?" "No," I said. "I'm listening." "To what?" she snapped. "To you." She flinched at that. Her eyes darted around the room like she was searching for a version of me she knew how to argue with. She only found the one she didn't recognize. "You can't be serious," she said, voice shaking. "Randy, that was just words. I didn't mean them. Then why did they come out so easily?" She opened her mouth, closed it again. I could see her replaying everything she'd said before she left. Her defenses were cracking one by one. "I was mad," she said. "You were questioning me for no reason." "No reason?" I tilted my head. "You hid your plans. You dressed like you were trying to impress someone who isn't your husband. And you walked out after telling me to divorce you. That's not nothing. That's not—" She stopped mid-sentence, the lie dying in her throat. "I just needed a night out. Crystal said—" "Crystal covers for you a lot," I said quietly. Her face drained of color. "Don't," she whispered. "Please don't do this right now." "Do what? Tell the truth? Ask why you deleted conversations this week? Or why your phone's always face down when you get a message after midnight?" Her eyes filled fast, the panic turning into something heavier, fear. "Randy, I swear, it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I asked. She breathed out a shaky sound, part sob, part surrender. "I messed up," she whispered. "I messed up, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't think you would ever actually leave." There it was, the first honest sentence she'd given me in months. And it was only the beginning. Betty stood in front of me like someone waiting for a verdict. Her breathing was fast, uneven. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, smearing what was left of her mascara. "Randy, please sit with me," she whispered. "I'm already sitting." She swallowed and lowered herself onto the edge of the couch, hands shaking so badly her heels clattered to the floor. For a long moment, she just stared at her fingers twisting together. "I didn't go to Blue Ember for Crystal," she finally said. Her voice was small, stripped of all the attitude she'd left with. "I was meeting someone." I nodded once. "Your coworker, Frank." Her head snapped up. "How do you—" "Patterns," I said simply. "You can hide messages, but you can't hide behavior." The truth hit her hard. Her eyes filled again, but I didn't move toward her. I wasn't there to make her feel better about the choices she made. "It wasn't supposed to become anything," she whispered. "It started harmless, talking, laughing. I liked the attention. I liked feeling wanted. And then you crossed a line." She nodded, tears spilling. "It was one night, one stupid night, weeks ago. I thought I could bury it. I told myself it didn't mean anything. Did he know you were married?" "Yes," she whispered. "He didn't care." "I cared," I said. "But you didn't." She flinched at that. "I didn't plan any of this. I didn't go looking for it. I just—" I got lost. I made the worst mistake of my life, and I kept making it worse by lying. That part, I said. I believe. She moved slightly, like she wanted to reach for my hand, but she caught herself. I pushed you away. I ignored you. I treated you like an afterthought. I know that. But Randy, I never thought you'd actually end it. That's the problem, I said. You thought my loyalty meant I'd tolerate anything. Her voice cracked. I don't want a divorce. I'll do anything. I'll cut Frank off. I'll switch jobs, whatever you want. Just please, don't let this be the end. I studied her face. Broken, scared, finally honest. It already started, I said. The divorce filing is in motion. She covered her mouth as a sob escaped. The consequences she never expected were now unavoidable, and for the first time, she understood that I wasn't bluffing. The following week moved like a slow, steady march toward an ending we both knew was coming. Derek handled everything with calm professionalism, emails, filings, timelines, while Betty moved like someone trying to keep pieces of a broken vase from slipping through her fingers. We met at Derek's office on Tuesday morning. Betty arrived first. She was dressed neatly, hair tied back, makeup light, but her eyes were swollen. She stood when I walked in, like she thought that small gesture might change something. Derek greeted us, opened a folder, and laid out the final steps. We'll review the property division, the accounts, and the agreement you both initialed. Once signed, I'll submit everything to the court. After that, it's a straightforward process. Betty nodded weakly. Can we talk about adjustments? No, I said. It's fair as written. She lowered her eyes. Okay. We went through each section. The house would go to me. She didn't fight it. We split savings evenly. Both cars stayed with their respective drivers. But every signature felt like another nail in something she had assumed would last forever. Halfway through, Betty whispered, Do you really want this? I want peace, I said. This is how I get it. Her breath caught. She wasn't angry, just hollow. Derek finished explaining the timeline. Once these are filed, there's a waiting period, usually about 3 months. After that, the divorce becomes final. Betty nodded again, slower this time. She was crumbling in pieces she tried to hide. When the meeting ended, she followed me into the hall. Randy, she said softly, can I come home tonight? Just for one more week. Just until I find a place. You already did, I said. She went still. What? I had the locks changed Sunday. Your things are in storage. The apartment you applied for called me this morning. You got it. Her chin trembled. You planned everything. No, I said. I just stopped waiting for you to care. She let out a quiet, broken sound and leaned against the wall, as if the reality finally hit her all at once. The marriage was over, not in theory, not in threat, in paperwork, in action, in truth. Betty's new apartment sat above a laundromat on Oak Street. Small place, peeling paint, nothing like the home we built together. She moved in with 2 suitcases and a box of shoes, and for the first time since the night she walked out in that black dress, she looked truly alone. In the weeks that followed, the fallout hit her harder than she expected. Crystal stopped hanging around once the drama started. She texted Betty twice, then disappeared back into her nightlife. The so-called club crowd that made Betty feel exciting suddenly had no interest in the woman who wasn't fun anymore. Frank vanished almost immediately. No calls, no messages, not a single attempt to check on her. The second he saw she wasn't sneaking around with a husband at home, he lost interest. Meanwhile, I rebuilt my routine. The house felt different, quieter, lighter, like the walls finally relaxed. I slept through the night without waiting for the sound of Betty coming home late. I started running again in the mornings, something I had stopped doing when our arguments drained the air out of the days. I reconnected with old friends I hadn't seen in years. People said I looked calmer. I felt it. Betty sent a message every few days. Not begging, not bargaining, just small apologies. I'm sorry for how I treated you. I'm trying to fix myself. I know I don't get another chance. Sometimes I replied with short, polite responses. Sometimes I didn't reply at all. She no longer held the power to pull me into an emotional tug-of-war. I wasn't cruel, just done. One afternoon, about 6 weeks after she moved out, I ran into her at the grocery store. No makeup, hoodie, hair in a messy bun, pushing a half-empty cart. She froze when she saw me. Hi, Randy, she said quietly. Hey, I replied. She looked me over, My posture, my face, the easy way I stood. Something in her expression shifted. She realized I wasn't hurting. I wasn't waiting. I wasn't hers anymore. She tried to smile, but it faltered. "You look better." "I am," I said. She nodded, eyes glassy, and pushed her cart past me. She didn't look back. That was the moment she finally understood what the divorce truly cost her. 3 months later, the divorce became final. Just an email from the court. No dramatic meeting, no last-minute speeches, just a simple confirmation that the marriage of 10 years was now a closed file. Betty sent one message that morning. "Thank you for signing. I hope someday you'll forgive me." I didn't reply. Some things don't need a response. A week after that, she reached out again, this time asking to pick up a few boxes she had forgotten. I agreed and left them on the porch. When she arrived, she surprised me by asking if we could talk for 5 minutes. Her voice was soft, not shaky or dramatic, just tired. I stepped outside and leaned on the railing. "5 minutes," I said. She nodded, folding her arms like she needed to hold herself together. "I'm not asking for anything," she started. "I just want to say something the right way." I waited. "I ruined our marriage," she said plainly. "Not you, not Crystal, not alcohol, me. I hurt someone who actually cared about me, and I didn't realize how far I'd gone until I lost everything. I'm working on myself now. Therapy, no clubs, no trying to fill the emptiness with people who don't matter." She looked at me then. Really looked. Not with hope, not with expectation. Just honesty. "I know I can't fix what I broke," she continued. "I just wanted you to know I see it clearly now." Her voice stayed steady, but her eyes told the story of long nights and hard truths. I nodded. "I hope you keep doing the work," I said. "Not for me, for you." A small, sad smile tugged at her lips. "I will." We stood in silence for a moment. No tension, no anger. Just two people who had run out of ways to hurt each other. She picked up her boxes, thanked me, and walked to her car. Before she opened the door, she turned back and said, "You look stronger now." "I am." She nodded once, got inside, and drove away. That was the last time we spoke. As I walked back into my house, I thought about the night she said, "Don't like it? Divorce me." Back then, she meant it as a weapon. In the end, it set me free. Respect, not fear, holds a marriage together. And once respect disappeared, leaving wasn't revenge, it was self-preservation. And choosing myself was the first real peace I'd felt in years. Thank you for watching.